Hey everybody, how's it going? How are we doing? We're back, episode 2 of Citizen Sleeper. When last we were here, we woke up in a box. We did some stuff for a man down at his docks. We've sorted out, we've helped Feng with his thing. We're almost out of today. I kind of need to deal with this at some point. But before we go sleep for the day, we need to talk to the doctor. 4 cycles, Sabine said, and here you are right on time with no sign of them. You wait a while in this apartment, the dread descending as the cycle spins onward. They should be here. Check the terminal. You check and double check the terminal for messages or recordings. Nothing. Just a pale glow, silence. Pace back and forth around the apartment. The rumbling of the station suddenly so present and loud. You go to the door and open it to an empty corridor. You close it again. Wait. You try to settle down to wait. You sit on the bunk and stare out at the tiny room. Where the hell are they? A knock at the door. A figure stands in the door and immediately you know it's not Sabine. They're taller, sharper, and something in their face glints in the half-light. A dark shape like a stubby baton hangs loosely from her hand. A local sleeper. Good to finally meet you. She steps into the apartment, glancing around with sharp eyes. What, may I ask, are you doing here? She fixes you with a steady, unwavering stare. Waiting for a friend. Of course, a mutual friend of ours, the good doctor. She walks past you into the apartment, glancing around. We set them up here, you know. This place is one of ours. She picks up a glass from the dispenser and inspects it. People always seem to forget who put them where they are. She glances at you. I suppose you were here to help. Something like that. Good, good. She puts the glass down and turns to face you. I love to meet helpers. We need so many, but can find so few with the right skills. She spins the baton in her fingers by her sides, her eyes not leaving yours. We have a problem, you and I. It seems our friend has disappeared, left without even saying goodbye. Which means they're in a little trouble now. But it's the kind of trouble that you need help for. So I thought I'd come down here and take a look at their little hidey hole, and here you are, the help. She looks through the detritus on the side. And what help, a sleeper no less, which I have to admit is a little surprising. Suggests to me that our little friend hasn't been very honest with you either. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to report that before we got them set up here, Sabine was working for your owners. S and ARP. You blink hard at the news, unsure how to take it. Rabia looks away, looking for a response. Prove it. Happily. She crosses into the next room and you follow silently. She sits at the terminal and touches her baton to one of the access ports. A spark, then the terminal screen skips encrypted folders emptying themselves before your eyes. In the flicker of files you see SNARP, letterheads and code forms, reports laden with medical data, marked with the corporate logo like the sigil of some cult. Rabia steps away from the terminal. Look all you want, some of your files may even be there. The volume of documents is overwhelming, but they seem to be mostly reports on early emulation tests, surveys with sleeper candidates, reams and reams of usage data. If Sabine was an SMARP employee, why did they help you? Rabia reaches over and places a vial of stabilizer on the desk, breaking your concentration. It shimmers in the screen light, its viscous, clear liquid crystalline within the glass. And we will, of course, keep up the supply. We're more than able to dispense important medicines, even without the doctor. You hold it between your fingers, and for a tiny moment you have the urge to crush this object for the power it has over you. I'll ask Toshiro to make these a little cheaper for you. He'll be running the surgery now. Rabia closes up the briefcase lab and holds it at her side. We have to retrieve our assets, of course, but I'm sure you understand. Rabia turns on her way out. There's no reason for us to be enemies, Sleeper. Come see me, I keep an office nearby. We have good work to do, you and I. Meet me there in a few cycles. She steps out silently into the corridor. You look around the apartment, feel the fear drain out of your body to reveal the tiredness beneath. make sure we've got plenty of energy. Can I sleep now? Right, okay, what do we got to do? Rabier's office, Midline Freight Hub, stuff over the other side. Stuff at the Sidriel Hull. Been promoted to the assembly team. I mean, I might as well do that. Gives me some cash. What are we really trying to do? The big one. Could probably do this. Do that for a cycle. It's the Midline Freight Hub. Steal a shipment. That or operate freight. Free spoke. I almost want to do that. Let's head over here. Is there anything interesting? Oh, hello, Greenway Gate. You need... The Climbing Briar. Welcome to episode Flux. It's the first of 3 episode updates to Citizen Sleeper telling the story of the refugee flotilla. Flux, Refugee, and Purge are now available. Completing supply Girol's action will begin this episode, but be aware this is for late game. Okay, so we deal with those later. What about the margins? Look for tracks or interface. Start. That we're waiting for that. Find action, flotilla, get to know our Memphis Sidriel ticket. So what do we get for interface? Gain cryo from on interface actions? Yeah, let's start doing that. Still can't afford it. Hi-Fi commune, work the canteen, work the grow beds. Greenway, we can walk Greenway, or we can map the pathways. Let's head back across. Let's head back across here. Sure, let's just climb the spoke. So we've almost climbed that spoke. And we're waiting for the salvage to come back. So still gonna get 3 dice out of this. Ugh. This is a pretty terrible one, so let's and then what do we got in terms of agents? Yeah, we'll just grab the agents. Are there any more? Yeah, there's another one. And then we can go over to the offices here. And we can sell that data. How much are you, oh, you only cost 80 now. One of the active scenes. As you approach the address Rabia gave you, a heavy hand falls on your shoulder. It's your business here. The enforcer grips your shoulder, giving a hint of the strength her implants give her. As you turn to see the same subsidiary eyes as Rabia and Toshiro, glinting like mirrors on her cheeks. Gia, please, the sleeper is here at my invitation. At Rabia's command, the hand immediately loosens and an apologetic look replaces the scowl on Gia's face. Of course, Rabia, I'm sorry. Rabia waves her away. Don't you worry, I appreciate your protective instincts. She smiles at the enforcer. How about you head to the tambour? They have a delivery coming and they'll need some help with the lifting. Gia nods and walks away. So, sleeper, you came, I'm glad. I didn't feel like it was an offer. I'm sorry for that. You have to understand, finding you there in Sabine's unit, I wasn't sure where we stood. There are more than a few people on this station who would rather I was dead. I had to be sure you weren't one of them. Not yet. I like your sense of humour. But let me ask you a serious question for a moment. She begins walking and gestures for you to follow with her. She takes you down the staircase into the bustling walkways of the low end. What do you know about the Yataghan? You're a gang. Gang, yes, that's what people call us. But what meaning does that word have in this place? People with carts push back, moving crates of supplies around the thin and winding passages. Our reputation is one that implies a threat. Is that fair to say? We're framed as aggressive, parasites, criminals? She gestures around at the people in the passageway. But when was the last time you saw a lawmaker on the eye? A policeman? Who makes the laws here? Havenage. They believe so, don't they? By claiming a lineage that extends back to Erland's union, they assume the burden of authority. They have no authority here, out past the Blight Market, where few work in the shipyard or pay for their docking berths. If you'd spent your time in the low end, maybe your opinion of us would be different. This is our place, our people. The low end was empty in Erland's time. It didn't need to house thousands, and keeping the yards and the rotunda safe was work enough. No, the low end was reclaimed later, when the refugees started arriving. The collapse didn't just happen here on this station. When Solheim collapsed, the entire system felt it. Colonies abandoned, the moons of Ember and Cinder suddenly gained independence overnight. Some took advantage, some tried to hold it together, some fled. The Eye became a refuge, and Erland, to his credit, extended an open hand to everyone. But many within his organizations disagreed, and those new arrivals weren't as simple as the corral they had hoped for. It leads you to a small market hall, busy with small stalls and traders. Erland's union was made of workers, administrators, People who were malleable and already organized into hierarchies and networks. The refugees came from different factions and families were scared, injured, desperate. Conflict was inevitable. Yataghan is a child of that conflict. A child born out of the need for us to stand up and claim our future, to provide security, strength. People call us a gang, but we are a community. I take my position as lieutenant seriously, and from my birth, I work to earn it. She catches herself before she raises her voice any further, and you both walk in silence for a while. Among the smells and textures of the low end, you start to wonder if this place could be a home for you too. Where do I come into this? I believe that you understand the importance of a refuge, so I also believe that you wish to help keep this place safe. For this reason, I would like to trust me. I don't know what Sabine told you about us, but I imagine it was not good. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper, I was never comfortable with having Sabine as part of Yataghan. An ex-corporate employee goes against our nature. But their deal was with Yannick. I kept my distance. Made sure Sabine had their surgery, kept it supplied, that was all. I cannot allow people to go back to the promises they made to us. Yataghan has not lasted this long because it is charity. We offer and ask for support. Any betrayal will be treated as attacked. They were desperate, trapped. Many on the IR. Sorry, but we must ask that our debts are paid in full. You found something? I don't want to hear their accusations. They only wanted to escape their debt. They could have said anything, but where are they now to stand behind their claims? As we will. You realise Rabia has led you in a loop, and you both come back to a staircase to the walkway where you met. You're free to go, Sleeper. I've said what I wish to say. I would protect this place with my life as it has protected me. I want to make that clear. However, if you too wish to come under its protection, I can help you. Return here if you wish, and there'll be tasks for you to complete. You'll be able to see Yataghan and see the low end with your own eyes, not as others frame us. As for Sabine, I won't ask you to betray them. But if they contact you again, consider their motivations carefully. And with that, Rabia leaves, slipping back into her office, while you stare out at the countless units, each a home, each with a story, make up the low end. Work for Rabia. So, we could work for Rabia. It's an option. You've got one. You've got a couple more. You've probably got one more cycle. Oh, two more cycles, okay. There's no point playing the exchange. There's the low end. Lem's unit. Let's finish this. Oh, no, that's not going to do it. There we go. We did that. She's asleep, whispers Lem, creeping back out of the unit's tiny bedroom, sliding the door shut as he does. You're perched at a thin bar in the main room, slate in front of you still glowing with Mina and yours drawings from a cycle spent together. There's a ring, the only word Mina has known, with stick figures standing along its edge. The tall one is you. Drink? Asked Lem, producing a warm bottle of Girl from under the bar, its contents glowing amber in the fluorescent light. Sure. Nods and glugs a few fingers into a couple of metal tumblers and then sits down with you at the bar. Cheers, he offers. You clink the metal containers together. You know, we actually have something to celebrate this time round. I made the assembly team on the Sidriel. Grins broadly. Clearly he's been desperate to tell you all cycle. Amazing! Couldn't have done it without you keeping an eye on little meanie back here. He slips a little on his stool, he looks uncomfortable. How's the girl doing, Sleeper? I haven't seen much of these past cycles. He misses the father. Yeah. Takes a drink, his eyes fixed on the bedroom door. You okay? Can't take all the credit for Mina. She isn't actually mine. gazes into the middle distance. I pulled her off a refuge shuttle out by one of Ember's moons. The colony was falling apart for decades after Solheim collapsed, surviving on next to nothing. Eventually, some of the residents tried to make for the island those decrepit old shuttles. They had no idea what they were doing. The one Mina was on decompressed halfway here, everyone spaced. The only reason she made it was someone sealed her in a weapons locker. She was ice cold when I reached her, purple lips. Once I picked her up, I wouldn't let go. The medics treated her with me still cleaning in onto her, still not sure why. We weren't exactly anybody's heroes, you understand? We were private military, hired in by Conway to protect their claims in the collapse. But once I got Mina, that was it. Quit. Got us dumped here. You saved her. I sound like an idiot now, but she saved me. That's the truth of it. He looks around at the decaying unit, stained plastic plating and flickering lights. Me. I brought her to this. She was so tiny, so too small to know what she lost, but I can't stop thinking about it. What if our number doesn't come up in the draw, Sleeper? What then? Sidril will sail off without a thought, leaving us here. What kind of life is that for her? Sorry. I know you don't have it any better. It's a celebration, right? Both of us on the team, now both of us within a chance. Exactly. Imagine all three of us riding the Sidril horizon out of here, to a new world. I think I drank this too fast, he laughs. Lim stands and starts to clear the glasses. I need some sleep, friend. See you around. Alright then. Thank you, Sleeper. I mean it, from both of us. He pats your shoulder and you slip out into the dark of the walkway with thoughts of little Mina in your mind. Okay, so that's that. I want you to patrol the ward or collect tithes. Oh hey, the PAS import-export. So I can sell ship mines here for 150 cryo. I can buy them for 300. Or I can export Matsuke. Is that because I climbed the... No, I haven't finished climbing it. There we go. Ascender car. Take the Ascender cars to the Eye's central hub. The hub. Station main dock. Space is socializing. Up here, there's no gravity, so even just moving around takes a while to get used to, let alone navigating the bays. So the hub is thronging with spacers from across the surrogate systems. They can be a prickly bunch, but they know the place well. Sure. Oh yeah, we got one on that. We were alright on it. A couple of keynotes here. Got one upgrade point. What was it? Interface? I think it's interface that I need at some point. For something. Yeah, interface +1 for that. So let's take interface +1. only got 2 dice now. So you're basically next. This one's safe. Yeah, got some cryo out of it. And you... Sure, we'll take the bomb. The hunter's going to be here soon. It's been more than a few cycles since Feng confronted Hardin, and the silence has been noticeable. In your time with Feng, you haven't exactly found him to be reliable. But you didn't expect to hear the end of whatever plan he put into action. But if it won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havenedge building, then it's time you come to him. After all, he did promise to fix your tracker and you're getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open, light pouring out of the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed of their mystery by bright flood lamps. A figure in Havenedge security fatigue steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. As you get closer, you see the security officer taping up machines from Feng's stash with what looks like hazard tape. This isn't good. You again. Hardin is there, leaning beside the bay entrance so calmly that you barely noticed him. He has a slate in hand, an inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable, further evidence of Feng's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Where is he? Feigning ignorance, or perhaps just abandoned. I believe you should choose your conspirators more wisely. I almost feel sorry for you. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around at the stacks of hardware. Spying on fellow Havenedge members, hoarding Solheim materials, an obsession with corporate data. It speaks for itself, does it not? I mean, that was his job. And what would you know about jobs, Sleeper? He looks up beyond the glass roof above the stars beyond. We're the ones that provide the oxygen you're breathing, the light you're seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. This place was hard fought for, Sleeper. It took work, diplomacy and strength to stop the Eye descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. A blind conviction or self-interest. Feng isn't selfish. I know all about the background of our mutual friend, Sleeper. Don't you worry about that. His parents would be sickened by the damage he is trying to do to the institution they helped found. So, you see here, Sleeper, we're proud of our history here. Andre Erlin and his first union founded this place, and Havenedge has welded his values into the station's very walls. We will never turn away from the hard-working, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havenedge aren't gang like Yataghan. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you'll meet in the hub, or esoterics like those high-fae radicals in the Greenway. We are the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named Erlin's Eye, Sleeper. This is our station. You meet your eye. So please take your false accusations elsewhere before I decide I need that confession after all. History will catch up with you. I'm not afraid of history, Sleeper. We're making it here, cycle by cycle. If you have any pride, you'll give Feng up the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Hardin turns his back and walks back towards the security officers, ordering them to continue the clear-out. As they do, something catches your eye among the server stacks. A crumpled, hand-printed box of synthetic chewing gum. A penguin character grinning from the brightly coloured card. Scrawled onto it a speech bubble reading, "Take me to Tambor." You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching, and then turn away just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done, Feng? Where the hell is Tambor? Where is Tambor? Why do I feel like I've seen that name somewhere? Well, let's finally do this. Now I have to talk to Emphis. Sleeper! Emphis calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok, the fire leaping up to meet the oil. I see you cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. Kind. Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. What one of yours? Nothing stolen. You pause. Spices rich in your nostrils, and you think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Emphis. You look at Emphis, the listener, and imagine he's heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. Telling your dreams. All the sleepers you tell Emphis had dreams. Some were simple memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those grey skeletal after image of systems and structures of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares. They were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life and slip behind your eyelids with every blink. And now you understand that they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one, like smoke through the air. You tell them that you do not know if there's a reason for your dreams. Perhaps you reason it's just some side effect of particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is, it's a gift and you hope to make use of it. Emphis finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, you're quite the storyteller. He eyes you and you realise he's trying to gauge how honest you've been in your story. He passes you the meal he's cooked and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. But my time is done for today and I do not want to keep you longer. I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind the stall. These are good for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple of cycles ago. They said that across the gap in the Greenway fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? Then you already know what I want to ask. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind. I'm sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Good! And I will wait for you to bring them. Slides his walk away and straightens up. I'll prepare a recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back to the main market. Rich taste of Emphis food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think, a trade that seems more than fair. Okay. So I'm going to need to take the stabilizer because I basically am down to 2 dice. You miss me? Ethan smiles a ragged smile at you. No. You look at him. He's paler than usual, hunched, sporting a black eye and more than a few cycles of beard growth. That's no way to greet an old friend. Friend? Well, colleague, he smiles weakly. This is big, really big stuff about you. He seems more jittery than usual, on edge. You remember how SNR cancelled the contract on you? Contract I was going to collect. Yeah. Well, I'm guessing you were pretty happy about that shit. Overjoyed. Me, I lost everything. But let's not worry about that. So what did you think that was it? I was just glad to be done with you. Oh, the feeling was mutual, except... What if old SNR gave the bounty to someone else? Someone who's even more of a shithead than yours truly. What a disaster that would be. Who? Question is, isn't it? Fishes around in his pocket for a slip of paper. Been speaking to some friends, you see, some colleagues about what went down. Turns out SNARP cancelled all their bounty contracts. A whole lot. It seems they've brought someone in-house. Some guy who did so well on their last contract that they got offered a job. Apparently we made a hit on this ship called the Winter Wonderland or something. It was smuggling sleepers out from under SNARP's big corporate nose. He killed the crew and blew the ship. They called him Hemwick or Maywick or something. He gives up looking for the paper, I forget. You mean the Winter Light? That's it! So you do know about this. He pats you on the shoulder. Then you'll be happy to hear about what I'm to offer you. Given this new information I've brought to light, it seems you're in need of protection. Wait for the pitch. I, meanwhile, am in need of assistance in kind. Turns out I upset some people at the compressor last time we were there, the owners, and they say they'll space me unless I work off the debt. Seems that they are that kind of businessman. Would pay them, but he looks pitiful even more for his clownish accent. And work it off. You should be glad that I came here and told you this. You think anyone is looking out for you? You're a contractor, name on a list. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being a shit. I'm trying to kill you. I'm whacking that thick skull of yours, he sighs. You think I want to go up against this guy, but us? We don't have a choice, so you keep me from getting killed and I'll do the same for you. We can help each other. A straight 50-50 deal. I'm asking for a favor. I'm at the compressor every cycle, working. Just think about Maywick. Think about that cold-eyed SNARP shit on his way here from the core systems. That should give you the motivation you need. Can't wait to be working with you. So gain Ethan's protection. Okay, back. Gain Ethan's protection is the new drive. Work in the compressor. Is that the compressor? We can work the front, we can work the back. It's all dangerous. Probably want to... What do I want to do? Start finding Ashton. That seems to be a thing that was... So let's head over to the Greenway. So now we can do this. So we can search for signals here. Sure, let's try this. 3. Sure, let's just search for these signals. And let's get some walking of the Greenway done. Sure, let's give that a go. Right, what's Ankita gotta say? The trail ahead extends deep into an overgrown section of the Greenway. At this far end of the ring, where the long, lazy curve of the Greenway becomes a shattered landscape of the waste, things are oddly quiet. Ahead stands a vast farm stack, broken from its axis by rust or force, and lying amongst the overgrown landscape like an ancient temple. It's stained with moss and algae, flows of green running out from its broken tanks like a frozen, brackish tide. This is where Ashton is hiding, you're pretty sure. All your intuition points to the shadows beneath this collapsed superstructure. You roll the con headset Ankita gave you in your palm. Call Ankita. You slip the headset over your ear and it fizzes with static. After a few moments you hear Ankita. Sleeper, have you located the target? A doubt enters your mind. Can you be sure he's there? Yes, come now. Copy. Hold tight until I get there. Static cuts out, the channel dead. You hold your position and watch the trail. Ahead, the stars wheel with the motion of the eye and your mind wanders. Try to imagine what this place looked like before the collapse. All ordered rows of crops. Corporate pleasure gardens, glowing farm stacks. Now it's a wilderness. A strange overgrown biosphere bordered by the void of space. You smile despite everything. Seems like an improvement. Sleeper? He in the collapsed stack? Think so. You better be right. Well, there's no way I'm following that trail if he's up there. He'll have eyes on that for sure. Let's keep to the undergrowth, work our way around. She heads off towards the central spine of the greenway with you following close behind. It's slow going there where the overgrowth meets the metal wall. It's so concealed you can barely see the glass roof high above. Ankita somehow seems to know where to go. She works her way through the dense undergrowth, pushing aside branches and fronds. It's exhausting, and you desperately want to rest, but Ankita shows no signs of letting up. Up ahead, there's a faint glow from the collapsed stack. Ankita leads you around the side to the broken tank. You both step through the opening, trying to avoid the broken glass that sits among moss and algae. You work your way up the slanted tank, Ankita setting a deliberate pace. Somewhere water drips and you swear you hear birdsong. Hanging plants clutch the light, coating the place in a pale and sickly green. Ankita reaches the edge of the tank where it meets the central drum and holds up a hand for you to stop. You inch forward and look over the edge. The vast drum is like a system with plants growing on all sides and wet mossy islands at its base. It's beautiful, and for a moment you can't see anything but tones of green. Then you see the sleeper. In a faint circle of light, descending down through the drum, the sleeper lies slumped at an odd angle. They're surrounded by crates, and beside them, on one of the mossy islands, there is an object. A cylinder set on a tarp. It's connected to the sleeper's head. You flinch. Are they one of the others? One of the ones that escaped with you? You squint, trying to recognize them. They're twisted, broken, open, wrong. You look away. Ankita doesn't look at you. She doesn't look at the sleeper. She fixes her eyes on the object. That's Amber's shipmind, she says. You suddenly recognize the sleeper. Who is? Turn to Ankita to speak, but she is already gone. She drops off the edge of the tank and lands on one of the mossy islands. Her armor letting out a hiss as it absorbs the impact. The shot hits her shoulder piece, the ceramic armor cracking but holding as she braces with the impact. She launches herself forward, the now activated armor launching her across the drum. Another shot goes wide, but she reaches the cover of the crates beside the sleeper. Shit. You hear the shout from one of the tanks high on the far wall. Ankita reaches over and wraps her hand around the thick connection between the shipmind and the sleeper. What's she doing? You better come down here or rip this right out of their head, she screams at the wall of tanks. You shiver at the suggestion. There's a long pause and all you can hear is the dripping of water running down the walls of the drum. Then Ashton calls out. I'm coming down, Ankita. Don't do anything stupid for God's sake. He appears at the far side of the drum, stepping through the shallow water, rifle raised above his head. Drop the gun, Ankita shouts. He throws it down to the moss as you lean out to watch. You see him catch your eye, clocking your presence. What are you up to here, Ashton, you sicko? He stands, keeping a sidearm trained on his head. You've ripped my shipmind out for what? Some freakish experiment? Ashton approaches with shaking hands, his eyes now fixed on the connecting bundle of wires that Ankita still has hold of. Steady, Ankita, it isn't like that. I needed a shipmind. You have to understand, they would have died without it. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit why you ripped my shipmind and crippled my ship. I should put you down right now. She tightens her grip on the connection. Typical. No curiosity. That's why I never asked for it for your help. You only look after yourself. That sleeper up there, they're just bait, right? To draw me out. Are you trying to give me more reasons to shoot you? I love them, Ankita. I love them, and they were gonna die. I knew you would never understand that. He starts closing the gap between himself and Ankita, now slowly inching forward. Don't do that, Ashton. Don't do that. Let the wires go. Let us go if you don't get out of the way. Please. I can't let you take it, Ashton. You stole it from me. You left me for dead. You think I'm going to trust you after all that? I need it. I need them to survive. Ashton is in reach of the sleeper now with Ankita. I'm going to take them now, Ankita. I'm going to take the shipmind and go. She loosens a grip on the connection. Her hand is shaking now. Stop, Ashton. Stop. Seeing her drop her guard, he makes the move. A blur of movement, a struggle, a shot, another. You recoil back upon the edge as they ricochet around the inside of the drum, deafening you. When you crawl back to the edge, Ashton's bleeding into the water, the red and green. Ankita is standing in the center of the drum, the severed connection in her hand. The water drips endlessly, drip after drip after drip. You force yourself to look at the broken sleeper. There's no sign of life, of humanity. They're just another broken object among other broken objects. While all around, living things grow and thrive. Ankita finally looks back up at you, tears in her eyes. She begins to say something that might have been, sorry, you're already gone. So I now need to talk to her about what happened. I've got quite a while before this Maywick turns up as well. So that seems like a good place to call it for this episode. So keep an eye out for the next one, YouTube. Thanks for watching.